Hi there, I'm Linden Thorp, as you know, and this is Your Body is Your Business Plan, and this is the Masterclass. So Your Body is Your Business Plan is a book I wrote last year, and it was such an effective title that we decided to use it for this weekly Masterclass. So we're here every Wednesday. This is cycle 6. We've done this 6 times, 13 events. And each event is an embodiment topic. I'm an embodiment mentor, and we invite lots of different guests, and we've got some really super people here tonight, new to the Masterclass, which I'll introduce to you in a moment. So welcome LinkedIn members and YouTube members. Let's get started. To begin with, as usual, I'll just play a few slides to set the embodiment stage so that we know what we're talking about. So let me put some slides up, and as soon as we've gone through these, I'll bring my lovely guests onto the stage and we can start to talk. So today's topic is regenerative income. Now, I've told people about this topic many times, and of course they always come back to me and say, why are you talking about economics in an embodiment session? Well, of course, it is an economics topic, but I've taken it and I've turned it into an embodied topic, which is really simple, because really we're asking today, does your business or your job give you life? If it does, super. If it doesn't, then perhaps you need a regenerative way of earning a living. So just to get started thinking about this, please just remember now one piece of work that left you feeling deeply alive. One piece of work that you've done in your life that really excited you and left you feeling really alive. Okay, think about it, remember it. If you've got a lot of choices, great, but choose the best one if you can. Okay, and just go back there to that feeling of being deeply alive, deeply engaged, probably. So, when you went back to that experience, where did you feel it? Lodestone works with the 4 main inner compasses. That's the head, ancient brainstem, pineal gland between the eyebrows, the heart and lungs together, the solar plexus, which is just below the rib cage, and the base of the spine, which is a tremendous energy center. And you can see here a very famous little lodestone drawing showing all of those inner compasses. And these red lines here are the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve from the body to the brain. So it's the feedback nerve. In people who burn out, this vagus nerve has very poor tone. They're so dislocated, disconnected from their bodies that they don't get the distress signals. Okay, so where did you feel your wonderful piece of work, your engagement with that work? Okay, so now you've got that feeling, recall a piece of work that paid you, but quietly depleted you. Okay, you got a lot of money maybe from it, maybe a lot of kudos and so on, but it really exhausted and depleted you. I love my trees here, so we can see the flourishing tree and the withering tree. So depletion may look like this. Engagement may look like this. So compare those two things, those two feelings. How you felt when you were truly engaged, and how you felt when you were being paid a lot of money, perhaps, but really exhausted and depleted by that piece of work. So we're going to start talking about these things in a moment with our lovely guests. So in that little example, what did your body know first? And have you ever ignored that kind of feeling? That feeling of engagement, of excitement, of joy when you do a piece of work, compared with a piece of work you do that you get paid a lot of money for. And when does generosity become self-extraction? So many people now are talking about extractive employment. So in other words, work which really depletes you, pays the bills, but really depletes you, perhaps to the point of burnout. Burnout is something we deal with a lot with Lodestone, and it's really important to try and avoid it. Your body is your business plan, your best business plan. So we're encouraging business leaders to really reconnect with their bodies and their human spirits too. What's the insight here? I hope you like my wonderful visuals. I've created these to absorb you because they will take you hopefully into an absorbed state. So your body perhaps has been distinguishing between regenerative and extractive work all along. Your body knew, but perhaps you were forced to ignore those feelings because money came first or promotion came first. And yes, think about when income becomes regenerative for you. When do you feel it's regenerating you instead of depleting you? Many people think very hard at this stage and say, oh, nothing. This is something we need to look at closely, and especially now as the personal incomes, the personal economy is becoming so important in the digital age with AI and so on. Personal economies will become the norm. Traditional workplaces will crumble away. And so we have to start to become aware of these things. So regenerative income sustains you, aligns you, it builds abundance, it serves others probably, it benefits the world, it creates freedom, you might say, and it leaves a legacy. And your legacy is really important as we career towards the summit of the digital revolution with AI rushing after us. These things are so important. I personally think very much about my legacy now I'm older and my life is, coming to culmination. So I'm very keen on leaving my legacy, which is the culmination of my life. So let's bring those slides off. And don't worry, they're only meant to stimulate thought, and we're going to start talking now. So let me bring in my lovely guests. Here's Ebby Sheila, we know Ebby so well, and here's Linden Thorp. I don't know if I've pronounced that your first name correctly. Was it okay? Okay, who we have just really come into our own meeting, and we've got so much in common. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, in a moment we'll introduce you. Hi, Arnold. So good to be here. And Avital is here, but I don't know if she is here. Avital, are you there? Maybe she's got a problem with her connection.
Hi,
you're
I'm
here.
here, but I will turn on the camera and be more present in a couple minutes.
Super. Then we'll leave you where you are. So, welcome everybody. It's so good to see you. Thanks so much for sparing the time. I'll just do a very quick introduction. Ebby Sheila is a self-love coach, among many other things, and she and I are working together with Lodestone HR. Ebby Sheila is HR leg of it, and I'm working with healthcare professionals. Lone Lindholt is, oh wow, so much here to talk about. Danish, and I'm very in tune with that because I'm from the Scandinavian part of Europe too. My name, Thorp, that's a Norwegian name, so I feel very in tune with that. Lawyer in the background, 35 years in human rights, wonderful, and primarily designing, implementing and evaluating development-funded projects and programs aimed at improving human rights around the world. Wow, super. We are looking forward to hearing more about that. Arnold, you're principally a copywriter, and we've been in touch recently because we're both speaking at the Burnout Summit coming up.
Yeah, we are.
And you're also a storyteller, I believe, to put it briefly for now. Miller, she and I have met a long time ago, really, and we're both energy workers. Yoga has been very important to Avital, but she's just finished a master's program, which I think has brought a lot more facets or spoke her wheel. So we're talking quite a lot about doing some work together. So welcome everybody. So glad you're here. I'm going to make us all a bit bigger, if I can. Oh, come on. Not sure I can. I think that's the biggest we can be. For some reason. It's probably better to keep it a bit small, anyway, because of the Wi-Fi. So where are we all? I'm in Japan. Ebby, you're in London, around London. Lun, you're in Copenhagen?
I'm in Denmark, south of Copenhagen, countryside.
South.
Flying back to Asia tomorrow, yeah.
Right, just caught you in time. Avital, where are you now? You were in Denver the other day, but have you moved?
Maybe she's not ready yet. Remember, she said she doesn't.
No, don't worry. And Arnold, you are in
Denver.
Thailand, I believe. Oh,
Yes,
there you are.
Chiang Mai.
Yes, in the north of Thailand. Avital, where are you today?
Still in Denver.
Oh, you're still in Denver. Great. She is moving around an awful lot at the moment and could be in India quite soon. So I have to keep checking where she is. Okay, so what do you think about my little presentation? Let me get your initial reactions. Ebby, what about you?
So where did I feel it? I think mainly in my chest and my heart area. Is where I felt it. And I know we have to work with the 4 compasses to be completely aligned. But that was my initial thought. And yes, and it brought back memories to me where at the time I didn't know it. Now looking back, I can see where I was in a job that I loved the people, but the job itself was led me to burnout, put it that way. But at the time, I did not recognize, with so many people, when burnout is coming, they don't really realize that that's what's happening in terms of the signals and the symptoms. Yeah, so that's it.
Right. Well, that's great. And, your burnout experience is so important, especially for this upcoming summit. Lona, how about you? Where did you feel that
Well,
difference?
pretty much the same in the heart for the really positive experience. And as with you, Ebby, I mean, I've been there. I've experienced the burnout on a couple of occasions.
Wow.
A reflection is the reason for that is that those situations where there's not a flow, where there's not a communication, where there's not a resonance, are those situations where the burnout has occurred for me, either on an individual but also on a kind of a meta organizational level. That quick analysis, but definitely the good experience is felt in the heart.
Yes, great, great. Avital, how about you? Where did you feel that difference in a job you felt you had to do and one you wanted to do because you were so engaged?
Well, I will be honest that I pretty much always do what I do out of inspiration. So it was a little bit hard to come up with, what am I required? There's definitely been some things that felt depleting. But basically, what felt better was it was in the heart, but it was like the heart was singing upward.
Ah, okay. So we've got lots of heart energy going on there, which is wonderful. Great. Arnold, how about you? Where did you feel in your body? Where did you feel the difference between the excellent, engaged project and the job you had to do because you wanted to earn some money?
In the heart mostly, but in the whole body, actually, to be honest, because I remember there was a very big sense of dread. It wasn't even a job that I worked. It was actually an internship when I was in university, and my manager kept changing the expectations, and maybe we did something, and then he said, "Oh, we want this more," and it got to a point that I felt so stressed that even on Saturday night, the stress and the sense of dread and anticipation would come.
Right. Okay, good. Well, yes, let me contribute here because I've been teaching university students for the last 40 years, and basically, I adored the students, and we had a great time, no doubt about it. But yes, you mentioned the word dread, Arnold. I dreaded the admin because the admin, especially in Japan, I've been in Japan now for 21 years. Actually, yesterday, 21 years I've been here yesterday. The admin in Japan is, what can I say, military, to put it mildly. And the admin people have no idea about the students and the teachers and what they're doing in their classrooms. So I have always had a slight sense of dread at dealing with the admin side of what I adored doing with my students, which made it kind of bittersweet towards the end. And I must say, I retired 3 years ago, and I'm very glad I did. Because now I'm building something very different, and I don't dread. There you are, Avital. Oh, lovely. You look lovely. Wow. Lovely. Wow.
I wonder, Avital, have you got Linden on another device? Just because you're echoing.
You two know each other.
Have you got
met.
something on?
Somebody's got an echo on their microphone. Ah, okay.
Abigail, is that because do you have something, your LinkedIn open or your YouTube open with this, and so our voices are echoing back? Because I have mine, but I have to put it on 0 so it doesn't echo.
Yeah. Never mind. We'll Try it again. That's
I
it. Just
am using my phone. I could plug my microphone into the phone if that would be better.
well, it seems a
But
little.
it's
Doesn't
very
it?
early in the morning for me, so I just
Yes,
wanted
it
to make it
is.
easy. But I'm
Yes,
sorry if
yes,
I'm creating
do.
an echo for anyone.
No, don't worry, it's fine. And Abigail and Ebby, you've met each other, by the way, at
Yes.
Hannah's women's group. Yeah. So there we have it. There we have the 80%, according to the latest Gallup poll, in developed nations, I think mostly in the States, is dissatisfied with their work. And
It's not just
a
the
lot
States,
of
it's
burnout.
here too. Just to correct, it's not
Yeah.
really, in the UK, the figures are quite high too. I can't remember the exact percentage, but it is more than 50, it's actually more than 60% too.
I think the Gallup
And
figures are mainly the States, actually. But yes, I know there's great dissatisfaction in the UK. How about in Denmark, Luna? How do people find employment there? Are they happy with their work?
Well, I would say it varies. I think probably our figures might be a little bit better. A lot of that had to do with the Scandinavian culture, which also impacts in the workplace. So better conditions on gender equality. I'm not saying we're perfect, but we're probably a little bit better. We come out in figures a little bit better than average.
Yes.
Flat and less steep pyramidal structures, which give people more freedom and autonomy in their work situation. Some of those factors, I don't have the actual figure, but I think we would rate a bit better.
Yeah. We hear that all the time. You know, Scandinavia is much better organized in terms of education too. Great education models, health models, welfare models that really work. And, I think we're all trying to emulate what is happening in the north of Europe. Yeah, it's great. So I'm so glad you're here to
Just leave the xenophobia out of it, then we're pretty okay.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I'm so glad you're here because you can verify that. Arnold, how about you? I mean, you're from Singapore originally, aren't you? But you're having a very long, enchanted journey in Thailand, I believe. Is that true?
yes, and I would say that I believe many people in Singapore, from my observations, they seem very jaded and burnt out from their work. And I think it's because Singapore has it was built on survival when it gained independence many years ago. But I mean, it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it grew the economy, but on the flip side, it created a culture where it could overlook other parts of things like maybe well-being and like quality of life. And the funny thing is, I actually am familiar with Scandinavia as well because I did an exchange semester to Sweden. So I was like, wow, it's so different. But back to Singapore, I noticed that many people there feel that they don't feel satisfied in their jobs, but they are a bit scared to make a change. They are scared that they lose their income. They are scared of the uncertain and all. So maybe, I believe there's more of these people out there.
Thank you. That's a really good contribution. We've still got a bit of echo. Oh, yeah. Avital, have you got your YouTube playing? Because I can hear my voice in the background. No. Oh, something strange is going on.
No, I'm just on my phone, so it wouldn't even matter if YouTube was playing. Yeah.
I seem to be in many places there speaking, but anyway, don't worry, it's fine. And these kind of things happen all the time on StreamYard, and we always manage. And we usually end up having a good laugh. So don't worry about it. And it's great that you're here. I'm so glad you could make it. And I'm sorry so early in the morning for you, but there we are. That's the cost of fame. I, as an embodiment mentor, am always trying to encourage people to create their own business. I did it. I started to do it maybe 5 or 6 years ago, knowing I would retire from my hourly paid work, as I tend to call it, the 9-to-5 grind, I call it actually. And I started to build websites, and I knew that I wanted to do something really special once I retired and my time was my own. So yeah, when I retired, it was so wonderful to be able to work just for me, and not to have to look after hundreds of thousands of students, you know. Even though I adored them, it was quite a big job to manage them, you know. So I'm always trying to encourage people to start what is commonly called a side hustle. I hate that expression. It gives this this idea that it's something illegal. But, you know, an income on the side or multiple income streams. And of course, I often find that people get very stressed by that because, of course, they want to do their best in their job, which they're being paid for, and maybe are a very valued member of the staff and so on. But people don't really realize that these things are going to disappear. Paid jobs and traditional workplace stuff is going to disappear eventually. AI is going to come in and really take over so many jobs. We're seeing a lot of job loss at the moment. And so, to me, it's the most exciting and natural thing in the world to build something that reflects who you are. And that identity, and Arnold and I were talking about that the other day. Your identity, of course, if you work for a company or you work for someone else, then it's a kind of fractured identity. You're feathering someone else's nest, you're working as hard as you can, you're doing a good job, they pay you. But there's nothing to compare with working for yourself and knowing that everything you're building is for you and from you. Any comments about that? Lona, how long have you been working for yourself?
Well, I was in paid work, pretty high demand work for about 17, 18 years after I graduated, maybe 20 years. Then I left 2013, became an independent consultant, and that was actually the result of a burnout situation. And building that, I can absolutely relate to what you're saying, the joy, also the stresses of doing that. You have to learn to work in a very different way, and you have to get to know, how are you self-motivated, self-driven, all the things that come with that. Then I went back into full-time employment for 4 years when I moved to Laos and got a contract there. And then I've come back out but just for myself from early 2025. So I've been back and forth. And so I would say, I've been navigating both. I would say both. I can absolutely relate to say that deep joy of building something for yourself. That is a very nurturing, amazing thing.
Isn't it? Yeah. But, it's really true that people are scared of doing this. They are scared of failing. They're scared of ending up bankrupt. All of these scenarios come up. And, I've worked with a lot of people who I try to inspire to make a website, with all their passionate ideas encapsulated on their website. And I offer to help them with that. and they go ahead and build the website, but then they chicken out.
But this is where embodiment comes in, isn't it? So it's like maybe they're putting the horse before the cart, and I guess this is where you need to work on yourself first and have that self-worth and self-worth, because regenerative income is not just simply about earning money. It's also about the peace and wealth that we talk about so much. Yeah, so which I guess Lorna found out that's the inner peace. Yeah.
Inner peace and inner wealth. Yeah, those things are so important. And yes, I find through embodiment, and I work with quite a lot of burnout victims and ADHD people and so on, and I find that they are, truly scared of the failures, the cessation of their inspiration, the idea that the ideas they have may not appeal to an audience, and so on and so forth. So they really step back from that. Avital, how about you? How long have you been working on your own? I think you've always worked on your own, haven't you? There I am.
I started when I was 5.
You started when you were 5. Wow.
My first
See?
entrepreneurial project. No, I have worked for others at times. And I'm actually thinking about the difference between doing my schoolwork and working on my business, because that is the most recent thing where I can see a difference. And I knew it because last summer I didn't take classes, I just worked on my business. And there's something in positive psychology that we call a flow state. And it's very easy for me to get into a flow state when I'm working on my business. Now, I was always excited for every single semester of school. And I'm very excited, in hindsight, for all the things that I learned and the information that it contributes to my work. But there's a couple things. Reading is not that interactive of an activity, so it doesn't involve enough of me when I'm somebody who likes a lot of interactivity and creation in the process of something. Right? Reading is just consumption of information. And you had to do a lot of memorizing and preparing for tests. So there's constant staying in a very conscious mindset and taking notes and organizing information. And when you're writing, you also can't get into a flow state because there's all these parameters that you have to write within. And maybe if I'm more experienced, I could get into a flow state, having memorized the process of how to write. Or I could write a rough draft in the flow state and then go out of the flow state and put in all the parameters. But the key is that when we're in a flow state, we lose the sense of time, of awareness of complaints of the body. And things just move so fast and fluidly. And it happens when there's a balance of working on your purpose and having the right amount of challenge as well. And when I'm working on my business, I'm more directly working on my purpose. I'm taking that information that I learned, but I'm putting it out there for the world, right? Just rather than just for the teacher. There's some things that I republished from school, right? So it wouldn't just be for the teacher. But there was a very different energy flow when I'm working on my business and how caught up I get in it, where I actually realize that I'm not going to start working on my business when I need to stop shortly after, because it's so agitating when I get in that flow state to have to pull myself out of it. I'd rather just luxuriate in it for a while.
Oh, I really know how you feel. Vacations, for a teacher. Everyone says, "Oh, you're so lucky you have all these vacations." But really, they were a nightmare because I never wanted them to end. I wanted to be able to flow with my business ideas and my writing and stuff. But they always had to come to an end. Arnold, how about you? Do you get into a flow state?
A flow state. Oh, to be honest, I'm still not very clear what a flow state is, but from what I believe, I do think that sometimes when I'm working on my business and my projects, it tends to be, sometimes I can get very deep and sometimes it gets very hard to pull away from it because it gets very immersive. But at the same time, sometimes it's also important for me to know, hey, you've done enough. It's time to rest, time to stop and maybe take it more easy, go and eat something and get some rest. Because I think as much as it's great that we do things that we're passionate about, I think if we don't rest and all, we can lead to the same burnout that maybe in corporate life or in maybe a disconnection between what we want and what we are currently doing. Yeah, that kind of burnout.
Yeah, I mean, I think and please chip in if you have ideas and you want to share them. But I think really it's difficult to stop for many people. Scrolling, screen gazing, they can't stop. And of course, that's principally what happens with burnout, with the kind of burnout we're seeing now. People can't stop. And so they keep going. They pretend to sleep. But in fact, what I call the limited mind is zooming and looming around all night. So they don't get any good sleep. They're not eating properly. You find that, burnout, people burning out are really neglecting themselves very badly.
Actually, that's one of the symptoms that burnout is creeping in. So if you get into the stage where you're not sleeping, you're not taking lunch breaks, and you're just overworking and overexerting yourself, it's actually a symptom that's creeping in. So again, for me, like I say, it always begins with self, and it's a disconnection from self. So when I say disconnection, I mean things like wanting validation from the outside. So we're always performing. Well, a lot of people are performing rather than being present. Yeah. So you're looking for, if I do this, it is going to please somebody. Or if I get this other qualification, this is going to make me better than what I'm doing, because it make me better than another person. So we're always in this business of competing, sometimes competing against ourselves, not against other people. And in terms of regenerative income and being in the moment and being in the place, collaboration as opposed to competition, because competition kind of puts us in the flight or fright mode, works on your nervous system, and it becomes a habit. So it seems like it's normal. So in terms of burnout, one of the things to look out for is those sort of things, because what's going on? Why are you feeling that you have to get validation? Why are you feeling you're not good enough? All those sort of things. If you're not feeling you're not good enough, what's your self-worth like? What's going on? And that's why I said putting the horse before the cart. So before we're going into setting up your own business, which is great, and I wish I had known this 30 years ago, 40 years ago, because I don't think I'm a corporate girl. I shouldn't have been incorporated. It was just not for me. But because I lacked self-worth, I thought I would fail. I thought I'll be judged. I thought I'm not good enough. All those negative things come to you. Whereas if you know who you are and you have faith in who you are, you self-trust. You self-trust yourself, then you're able to not worry about the external things, which in turn cause us to have the burnout.
Yeah, very true. Lona, I could see you.
Well, I think the really big challenge in this is, and I speak from both my own very personal experience, but also from working with clients with really bad burnout. is that those very factors that lead us to that stage are the ones we need to overcome to successfully start a business. So take one example, the erosion, absolute erosion of self-confidence is not helpful when you're then trying to build something new and stepping out of there. So those factors that have led you to where you are in that state are the ones that are critical to overcome in building something new. So I don't, it's not necessarily a very rosy situation. Ideally, it's to catch it well before you reach the burnout, while you can still harvest the personal resources and experiences that are you need to have in store for those days when you are building your business, before you reach the flow state, or when you drop out of the flow state, where you need to be really strongly anchored in yourself. And understand, how do I make a productive work day without, stamping in? How do I make sure that I self-monitor, that I both get the exercise, take time off, but also that I put in and build something constructive also beyond the website? How do I reach out to potential clients? So there are some really amazing challenges in all of this, but the better you're in shape and the further away you are from the burnout state, my experience is the easier it is to do that. And there comes a point where this is really an uphill challenge.
I absolutely agree, and I think what we're seeing is a lot of people who are really dislocated from the neck down. They're not connected, and so they are functioning, as Ebby said, they're performing, but inside they are cringing because they're depleted, exhausted. And I'm finding that the vagus nerve, as I mentioned in the short presentation, working with the vagus nerve in a kind of mindful session, which is what Lodestone is really one of the aspects of Lodestone which helps, is the vagus nerve starts to really perk up. And so once that happens, the whole body starts to become more present. People are really finding their body. Of course, I think one of the other things that's so important, and I'm sure Avital will join me in this, is gravity, grounding. Because most people have no idea how to ground themselves, because we think of grounding as a word or as a metaphor, when in actual fact it's a force field, it's a physical state. The Earth has the gravitational field, and we can use that. And so in my body work, I do a lot of grounding through letting the bottom half of the body go, letting gravity hold the body into the chair, really feeling the sitting bones, really feeling the feet spreading across the earth. And so we can use that physical force. And from that, once we feel really safe, because safety in all of these situations is so important, isn't it? I mean, maybe psychological safety, we could call it, but for me, it's physical safety too. And so once people are truly letting go and feeling the heaviness that gravity allows us to feel, then the urge to be upright, the urge to be vertical, becomes even stronger. And so we get this wonderful lengthening on the spine. And so I think grounding is very important, but not in terms of metaphor, but in terms of the actual physical state. Avital, do you agree? Can you?
Absolutely. And actually, as you're talking about grounding in the physical state, I believe that there's an impact in our mind state when it comes to grounding. And I love this. I watched this with one of my clients because her mind naturally goes in 20 million directions, and then we start meditation, and within a couple minutes, right, the body gets grounded, but then the mind gets grounded, and it focuses on one thought or no thoughts at a time. We can gain discernment as to what to focus on in each moment.
Yeah. Arnold, how about you? Do you feel that you're grounded? Sorry, Avital. Arnold, do you feel that you're grounded?
Sorry, what do you mean by grounded? Like, what's your definition?
I could see you looking a bit vague about that. Well, it really is used. You know, people say, "Oh, ground yourself," you know, but that's a phrase and it's a word, and words are symbols. So what I'm talking about is the actual bodily contact, whatever you're sitting on, whatever you're standing on. And the fact is, for me, I'm so gloriously, joyfully happy that I'm an earthling, because planet Earth is the only planet we know of that has this kind of gravitational force, and we can use it in our bodywork. So, Arnold, when I say grounding, then I mean the state of being grounded. And it's something you feel right in the base of your spine, right in your gut, maybe, and certainly feet, you know, and you feel so safe because you are grounded on the earth, on the surface of the earth. Have you ever experienced that, Arnold?
Wow. Yes, I did, but it's actually quite difficult for people like us to experience it, in my experience, because in the past, I remember I was always bracing and always anticipating, and I think also because when I was brought up and in the environments I was in, there was a mindset of always expecting the worst case scenario. So bracing for that really, it gave me a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and I won't lie that it still happens sometimes, but I think I learned how to manage it and tell myself, like, how realistic is this worst case scenario? Because it's not always very realistic. Sometimes we just, like, especially if people think like, oh, black and white or something, like they think like either you have a job or not. But some people they build their own business, and of course there's a new set of challenges that is different from a job. But I mean, it really depends on what trade-offs people are willing to make at the end of the day.
Quick question. Can I just so I know like grounding is probably one tool, and maybe there are other tools depending on. So Arnold, just a quick question, because I'm really interested in how you manage and what tools that you kind of use. Like I would maybe use grounding, but maybe you use grounding, but you just have a different word for it, and so maybe you don't really understand. So how did you overcome your situation in terms of like the pressure from the societal pressures?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. Personally, I would say I didn't really use a very specific tool. It's just that sometimes I try to reflect on what exactly happened, or times like what I do is I like to like reflect on my past experiences, and instead of like using them to maybe, because many people are very self-critical, like I used to be, like, I used to criticize myself and like, why did I do this, why did I do that?
Yeah.
But I told myself no, that it's just see it as data about what happened. Like think about, oh, maybe for example I said yes to something I didn't want to do, and I tell myself, oh, why did I do it? I think about, oh, I didn't want to disappoint my friend. And maybe I think about it, like, instead of saying, like, why did I say yes? Think about, in future, maybe how do I want to approach a similar situation?
It
Like,
seems like some people have a natural way, and Arnold seems to be one of them, to be able to come out of this. Maybe this is more of a Western thing, that we need all these tools. But it seems like from what you're saying, it seems that because you're saying the same kind of, you're speaking the same sort of language, but it's different. But it's solving those in situations like the self-criticism, which is one of the things that gets us into that position where you're able intuitively, because I believe that we really don't need any tools because we know intuitively, we've just forgotten. And like Linden always says, when she works with the Aborigines, they just know. They know what to do so they don't get into those situations. And it seems like Arnold is one of the lucky ones who instinctively and intuitively knows and has been able to overcome. So thank you for answering that, because I was just like,
My
"Oh, I wonder
pleasure.
how he's done it." Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't always like this before and sometimes it's still not like this because I think sometimes it really takes the experience and the grounding to tell yourself, oh, maybe this is how things should have been. Because I used to, like, I think a few years ago, I used to lack the self confidence and self trust, and I used to believe everyone else. And the moment they present a different opinion, I start to maybe think, like, hey, what's wrong with my opinion? Why is my opinion different from theirs? But then I realized, hey, maybe my opinion has a point. Maybe both can be valid. Maybe both can be coexist.
That's self-worth.
Yeah,
That is self-worth. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Lorna, what about you? I'm sure you've got lots of things. I know you've got a lot you want to say, but we're running out of time.
No. Well, I mean, what comes to mind is where I was last week, exactly this time. I was walking in a lovely Bronze Age landscape in northern Jutland, and I went and sat on what is for Denmark a high point of 56 meters above sea level, and really sitting there in, just being there, sitting there, letting the energy of that magical old place just soak into my body, and hearing the wind and feeling the sun. And for me that was extremely grounding, and
That's
that
grounding me. Sorry. What?
Yeah.
When you say that, I can just.
Exactly. So for me, being in nature, walking by the sea, walking in the forest, my place in Denmark is an old farmhouse. I'm looking over the fields right now. I can go out in the garden and just sit there. I can listen to the sounds and being really present. That is definitely something that helps me ground and helps take the noise out and brings me down into my body. But moving in those landscapes, even more so. So I think that's where we really connect with my deep Nordic nature, and feeling incredibly at home.
Yes.
Linden, there's a comment, I think, supporting Lorna's point. If you check in the by Carl.
Let's have a look.
Carl, yeah. Oh, that was lovely.
Thank you, Dr. Bashan. Thanks for being here. And also Carl Adamson. Oh, Carl, how lovely. And he says, I find my internal energy quickly dissipates unless I am properly grounded, Linden. I use trees. This is interesting. I use trees to help me ground quickly and deeply. Oak and beech are great. That is really funny you say that, Carl. Carl and I know each other quite well, but I didn't know he was a tree man. I'm definitely a tree woman. And we were destined to meet, clearly. I'm the same with trees. I'm surrounded by trees in Japan, huge ancient trees, and they give me this incredible sense of grounding. Their roots are burrowing down beneath everything, and have done so for several hundred years, surrounded by trees. It's fabulous. So glad you mentioned that. Thank you, Carl. It's great to see you here. So, we've got their comment there. Trees and nature. And yes, Lorna, you sent this wonderful video to me. I invited her to come today, and she said, oh, I'd love to come, but I can't, and put this video up of her in Jutland. There's absolutely nothing there. Just incredible video, I think. And I must say, I really felt a twinge in my, what can I say, in my DNA, because I thought, I'm sure my ancestors were there, because of course I'm from Nordic stock too. I just felt so, you know, embraced by that landscape. So thank you for sending that. That was wonderful.
You're
to see
welcome,
all-
Linden, and that was really, really special. And especially that area is where literally our Viking forefathers and mothers would pass and travel and meet up. And again, on the oak and the beech, I mean, the deep rootedness of those trees in particular it all makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
It all makes sense.
Yes, it does indeed. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, we are running out of time, and I am aware that I don't want to keep you longer than I absolutely must, although I'd love to go on with this for hours, and I think we could. But I think we'd better have an extension and continue on later. I think the upshot of everything we've discussed is that, yes, starting your own business, getting in touch with your own passion, which is very much what I did when I started my business, is fabulous. But it also is scary in some ways for many people. In my case, I was so grounded because of my spiritual background. And so most of what I do comes from my Buddhist background. I'm not a Christian at all. I was born a Christian, but I became a Buddhist when I was 10. And a bit like Carl, he's also very in tune with the Buddhist ideas. So really, I've lived my life on this Buddhist pathway. And so I am fearless, really, because I think I'm so connected into my body, into my spirit, and confidence. Yes, Arnold mentioned confidence. I think so many people see confidence as a mental strategy. A lot of the people I work with do. And it's not. It's a state. It's a bit like the grounding. It's a state of being. And I think one day when we are really connected, really embodied, and really, deeply engaged in our embodiment and so on, and we've left the brilliant but rather limited mind behind. We're really living direct experience, like Lona says, just sitting and absorbing the energy of that place. Then I think that we are really in tune with the universe and the circadian rhythms, which I'm really big into at the moment, because they govern our existence. And if we tune into them and we tune into our bodies, then Avital, if she could possibly speak, she got cut off there. But I know she is really heavily into meditation, has been teaching it for many years, and so on. And so, we are grounded in the fact that we are not seeing this mind, the intellectual visual mind, which is fabulous. It's a wonderful firework display. I adore it, and fireworks are irresistible, I think. But we're not making that our main stay. That's a set of tools, and they're brilliant, and we can do so much with them. But we have to come out of that state. And many people just don't know how to get out of it, so that they come down into direct experience of our lives, which are so short, really. And, it's so joyful to be deeply connected to your body. And once you are, then you pick up all of these things. Like, I definitely picked this up from Lone, that this is where my ancestors were, I'm sure.
My ancestors are not from there, but when she started describing that immediately, I think, I just could see it in my mind's eye, and I felt like I was there. and immediately I started feeling the difference in my body, what it was doing to me. So thank you very much, Lorna. That was just nice just to hear that description of that beautiful place.
So it's that direct experience that many people filter out because they spend too long here. And maybe that's what Arnold can naturally avoid. He can throw away the filters and come down into the body, you know. And I know Avital can, and I'm so sorry she's not here, I think.
Yeah, I think it's the echo, and she's having problems with her.
She's having problems. Well, she'll be back. Don't worry.
IT, isn't it? IT issues.
So we unfortunately we're going to have to. Oh, there you are. Oh, good. Good to have you.
Yeah, I just stepped away from I have another meeting now, but I'm hearing everything. And meditation is definitely a great way to ground ourselves, getting in nature. I heard that with the trees. I cat sit, and I think that actually cats and dogs came here for humans, and in one way to ground us, but to ground us in joy and love.
I totally.
So, I love what you just said about the cat sit.
I love what you just said about the cat sit. Yeah. Yeah, and they interrupt us, and I say I have to set myself up because I never know when they're going to interrupt me. But I think they interrupt me when it's time for me to take a break.
Well, look, it's so wonderful to have you.
That is another fun one. And
it's so wonderful to have you.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to bid you all adieu and have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. And thank you for this conversation.
And we'll be in touch with you. I'll be in touch with you, Avital. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay. So any parting words from anybody? We've got just 2 minutes left. You want to leave a parting word for our audience? LinkedIn, YouTube?
I'm really happy to have joined you guys. Sorry, I just jumped in. I have to say I'm a newcomer to this constellation, this group, this space. And thank you very much. I'll definitely continue to be part of it. So thank you very much, Linden.
Oh, super. Good. Oh, well, that's great. We're here every week. And actually, this series is cycle 6, so it'll be over on the 12th of August. We've got 4 more sessions after this. So then we'll be starting cycle 7, later in August. So, yeah, you're always welcome, Lorna. And you and I must get to have a chat very soon as kinswomen. Yes, you're always welcome. And Arnold, please always feel welcome at this event and come and talk and share and relax with us. It's lovely. It's been so good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm really glad to go and exchange all these perspectives. And for anyone in the audience, my LinkedIn is Arnold Wong, WONG. So you can find me and we can have a chat there if you want.
Arnold, don't worry. I'll be putting your profile link in the window under this live. And so people will be able to contact you. Don't worry. But yes, thank you to everybody for being here. And hopefully you'll come back next week. And I hope you have a brilliant rest of your, what day is it? Wednesday. The rest of your Wednesday. It's Wednesday for all of us, I think, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not for Avital, it's Tuesday for her because she's in Denver. Well, no, she's only in the morning. No, we're all on Wednesday. Oh, that's good. Okay. I'll be in touch and I will send you links and things. And please come back next week and we can continue on with this discussion, which amazes me because it came from that simple idea of regenerative income models. We've gone so deeply into so many different ideas and areas of our lives. It's been great. Love it. So thank you so much for coming. I'll bid you good night. Now, good day. I'm going to go to bed soon. It's very late in Japan now. And I'll be in touch with you. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. I'll try and, there we are. Bye. So that was great. It was a bit technically challenging for Avital, but she'll be back, and she's moving around, so there'll be a chance where she's in a stable place at some point. Thank you so much for joining us, and our lovely comments from Carl Adamson and Dr. Bushan. Thank you so much for being here. Next week is event 11, and event 11 is from scattered to sovereign. So this really means that maybe we have so many things on the go, but when we channel everything together, then we become sovereign, and the body and the spirit and all the levels of the mind, because the mind is not just one thing between your ears. There are many, many levels of mind. And so they all start to come together, and life becomes really magical. So come and join us again for From Scattered to Sovereign, and maybe you'll pick up a few tips. And please leave any questions or comments you may have under this window, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. And Abby is saying, great conversation. Thank you, everyone. From Scattered to Sovereign sounds really exciting. Looking forward to that conversation. Yeah, me too. So see you all next week. Thanks so much for being here. This is Your Body is Your Business Plan, the Masterclass. Bye for now.